sex. We've been doing it the same way for a long time. Think these days are the only days when the institution of marriage took a beating in the public square? Think again. Free love was a 19th century utopian movement that rejected marriage and made socialism sexy. The most well-known free love group of the time was the Oneida Society, which founded several communes in the northeastern United States that lasted until the 1880s. Today's Oneida Dinnerware Company has its roots in the original Oneida Society. Proponents of free love rejected marriage primarily because they felt the institution turned women into property and men into slaves to capital. This drawing, meant to mock the society, shows unattractive Oneida women fawning over a new male recruit. The drawing seems to be asking the viewer to recall the old adage, "Be careful what you wish for." Many of the good people, the church-going folks who lived in the areas around free love communes, believed the people there got up to all sorts of depravity. This included devil worship, as asserted in this 1882 clipping from a Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania newspaper. And possibly worse than devil worship, these free love people even danced on Sundays. That, devil-worshipping accusation did have some legs, though. The free love movement's largest and longest published newspaper was called Lucifer the Light Bearer, meant more sarcastically and confrontationally than meant as a nod to the devil. Publisher Moses Harman kept his paper going until 1907. Publishing the paper put him afoul of the Comstock Act many times. The Comstock Act made it illegal to send obscene materials through the U.S. mail. Back then, writings, as well as images, could be considered obscene. Harman spent numerous months in jail just for his written ideas about sex and politics. While Moses Harman was doing time in prison for writing about sex, many ordinary and likely not very ideological souls were in prison for sex crimes like adultery and fornication. The following clippings come from a small Pennsylvania city paper published in the early 1900s. These are police blotters from over several days, and you can see arrests for both adultery and fornication show up frequently. Ever wonder what's the difference between adultery and fornication? There isn't much of one. Adultery is sex with someone other than your spouse. Fornication is sex with anyone but your spouse. Once upon a time, one or the other, or both, were illegal in most places. Though most jurisdictions applied their sex laws infrequently, some places, like this Pennsylvania city, went gangbusters to stop sin. If jailing people for having or simply writing about sex seems absurd today, it did back then too. One left-wing faction in a state legislature decided to have some fun with the sexual mores of the day. Shortly after World War I, a faction of progressives in the North Dakota legislature introduced the Military Compulsory Act of the state of North Dakota. The bill read, in part, "Every returning soldier shall be compelled to pay an unlimited amount of attention on each and every unmarried lady between the ages of 17 and 45. The bill died quickly in committee, however, and though it seems to have been a joke, some newspapers took it seriously and demanded socialist blood. One member of the progressive faction said that the bill hurt the cause because it scared women who would soon get the right to vote. Then the Roaring Twenties started, and sex and marriage were never the same again. One side noteworthy, if ridiculous, use of free love was in a marketing scheme to entice the U.S. Post Office into buying imaginary animals. This article, published in a Virginia newspaper in 1869, tells of the efforts of the United States of Green Mountain's Patent Animal Manufacturing Company. This group of wild entrepreneurs claimed to have used free love to breed an ostrich with a giraffe. The ostrich giraffe, which they claimed resulted from this free love, was intended for mail delivery. One day soon, they claimed, the plains of the United States would be full of galloping Austrian giraffes carrying sacks of mail. That's the end of this episode of Sex, a History. Join us again as we delve into our past to show that though laws, attitudes, and emphases change, once we're in the bedroom, we've been doing it the same way for a long, 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 long time. Check out our G+ page for frequent updates with images, videos, and news from our collective sexual past.